What's up, guys? John back here with another video in the midst of all this coronavirus stuff going on right now. While we are currently on lockdown in the state of Michigan, we've been on lockdown now for about a week, I would say. And it's been one of those things where they've been just telling everyone, hey, don't go anywhere. Don't, unless you absolutely have to, don't go anywhere outside of getting food, medicine, just your bare essentials. That's what it comes down to right now. So I thought, what better time than to make another video in regards to just an everyday thing that I use that is not a big deal to me, maybe not a big deal to you, but it might be something that you've been considering on doing for quite some time now. Now, I know this topic is highly controversial in the gun world. It's one of those things where people look at it and they're like, you know what, you need it, you don't need it. So what we're going to discuss today is going to come down to flashlights on a pistol mounted flashlights. So stay tuned, more to come. All right, so here we are with my personal favorite. Now, I've tried a few different lights and mainly stream lights. That's been the most common one that I've tried in the last, I don't know, a couple of years, I would say. And the latest one that I currently have is a pistol mounted light on my 6-hour P365, which is a pretty decent light. It's a light slash laser, so it's okay. It doesn't do the worst job. It doesn't do the best job, and it's not crazy expensive. It's about $110 depending on where you get it from. I've seen them go down all the way into the mid 90s, but it's gonna be about $90 to $120 depending on where you get it from. So that light is a good light. It's something that's pretty small, compact. It's not like a massive light sticking off the end of your gun, and it's specifically made for the P365 6-hour, which is great. It doesn't protrude past the barrel, and you know how some people have lights that are like all the way out to here, and it's like, to me, that just doesn't look good. So it's not one of those things that I personally wanted to have on my firearms. I was looking at something that, if I'm going to run a pistol mounted light, it better be flush. It better come out to right here and not a quarter inch past that, not a centimeter past that. I want it to be completely flush with this. And it all comes down to holsters and all that stuff and comfort. And, it's one of those things where holsters, they're going to have to manufacture the pistol and the light around the holster, or vice versa, the holster around those two. And it's not something that you could do very easily. You're going to have to get it custom made, and it's going to be more than likely a Kydex holster, unless you get a real common size a real common firearm, meaning like a Glock 19, for example, or Glock whatever with a light on it. They probably have manufacturers that make pistols, and the lights and the holsters, you name it. They're probably all over the place. Now, when you start getting into a little bit more rare of a firearm, which I would consider the Beretta PX4 Storm kind of rare. Not a lot of people had this firearm. It wasn't a big selling firearm with Beretta. Now, talk about throwing a light on it. Then you start throwing a wrench into the making of a custom Kydex holster, where I did buy this firearm because I love the way it's shot, love the way it feels. It fits perfect in your hand, in my hand at least. And the reason why I got it was because of those reasons alone. Then you own it for a little while, and you're like, you know what? I wouldn't mind putting some accessories on this firearm. It's a great firearm out of the box from Beretta, but why not put a pistol mounted light if you can have one? And I know a lot of people are anti pistol mounted lights unless it's a home defense gun, unless you're a police department agent person where you need a pistol mounted light. Those are really like your only few options. Now, everyday carrier, CPL holders, they're not going to be running around with a pistol mounted light on their guns for the most part. And that's actually been quite the answer I've gotten back from a lot of people. I would say 90% of people, they do not prefer a pistol mounted light on their everyday carry, just personal preference. Now, when it comes to firearms are a big personal preference. It all depends on what you want, what feels best in your hands, what fits best for your needs. And for me, I looked at it like, you know what? I want a light on my gun. I'm not ever saying I'm going to use it, which I hope I don't ever have to use it, but I want to have a light on there just in case it takes one more thing off the table that you might not know you might need when you need it. And unfortunately, when when you're in that position, you don't know until you know. And for me, I prefer to have one. Not only do I like to have a light on the end of my firearm, but I also like the way it looks more. That's just, once again, my personal preference, my personal opinion. This firearm right here is a beautiful firearm. It looks good right out the box, the way it comes, everything's beautiful on it. Now, in my mind, I'm looking at it like, gosh, if I could put a light on this firearm, it would look so much more better. And that's just how I look at it. So, in comes the Olight, which is this bad boy right here. Olight, and this is going to be the Mini Valkyrie, which is going to be the PL Mini Valkyrie 2. And you can tell by the lettering, if I can get some focus on this. Always have issues with this focusing. All right, so it looks like you could still read it out. So it is going to be the PL Mini Valkyrie 2. They do make a Valkyrie 1, which is the original version of this flashlight. It doesn't specifically say that on there, but there's a few differences. The biggest difference is the lumen output. And when you're talking lumens, on an everyday carry pistol mounted light, I feel like 200, 300 lumens is plentiful. That's all you really need. It's going to get the job done. You're not going to run into any issues with that. Now, my TLR6, like I said, is about 110 lumens, and it throws the light about 60, 70 meters, I would say. I've tested it. It does pretty good. It's fairly good. It's got a general hotspot, so when you point that light downrange, it leaves a perfect circle, like downrange. This one does leave a circle. However, it's more of a spill. It's more of a spill type thrower. So they do claim on the box, as you could tell, set this down. This is the Olight PL Mini 2 Valkyrie box, and this is what it comes with. And right on the box, it says 600 lumens max with a 100-meter throw, which is pretty damn good. So when you're talking a light the size of this, which this total light isn't even like 2 inches and a quarter. I mean, it's basically 2 inches long. I mean, it's not a long light at all. To have a flashlight, pistol mounted light that throws 100 meters is absurd. I mean, you start getting into like real flashlight mode, where when you're talking flashlights that are everyday carry flashlights, like this one, for example, which is my Through Night TC15, look at the size difference. When you look at the size comparison, now this is going to give you way more throw, obviously, but this is also 5.5 inches long compared to this one, where this fits in your 2 fingers or your 3 fingers, and it's good to go. You can see the difference. Like, the size difference is astronomical. This takes up about, I don't know, a quarter of this flashlight, if that. So I mean, the difference is astronomical, and the difference with the throw, you can see in the actual head of the light. Now, the LEDs are quite comparable. They're pretty much similar. Now, here's the difference, though. Look at the reflector on this light. You're talking a beam distance of almost 300 meters compared to this one, where a beam distance of 100 plus meters. It's still pretty good. In my mind, if you can have something like this that throws light 100 meters away, that's plenty amount of light that you would need for any circumstances. This is more of a thrower type flashlight, everyday carry flashlight. It's not something that is, a light that you want to mount on your pistol, let's just say. So it's perfect for throwing in your pocket, though. It definitely gets the job done. That's why it's my everyday carry light. Now back to this one. 600 lumens with a 100-meter throw. That's a beautiful combination. And as you can tell by the box, there's this bottom piece right here, and that is this piece right here. So the beautiful thing about this flashlight is this is the charger. As you can tell, it's got their Olight stamp on there with the special right next to it. This bottom silver piece right here actually lights up, so it's kind of nice. Lets you know if it's in the red, that means it's not fully charged. If it's in the green, that means it's ready to go. And here's the beautiful thing. Take it off real quick, and just like that. So now it's ready to charge. I don't have to do any plugging in. I don't have to find the hole. I don't have to remove a plastic tab. Nothing. Done. Ready to go. So it's a beautiful charging setup, and it's just a standard USB at the back. So as you can tell, standard USB. just plug into anything that you plug a USB into, and then you're good to go. So that's a beautiful feature if you ask me. I love that magnetic charger. It's one of my favorite features on this pistol mounted light. And going to the actual light itself, so this gun is clear, checked it multiple times. In the intro, you can actually see that too. So one of the things you got to ask yourself, this rail system on here is not a very common rail. It does have a standard one slot right there, but it's not your standard Picatinny rail that has 3, 4, 5 slots on the bottom of the barrel. So it is something that's very, it's very choosy on what you put on it, I should say. It's proprietary. So the beautiful thing about this light right here is, as you can tell, comes with the slide rail system, and it's a very, very smart system. And this is the actual adapter right there. This piece that's got these 2 Allens on here, that's the actual part that clips into the bottom of the rail on the firearm. And then guess what? Slide it in place with this sliding mechanism up here. Pick and choose where you want it. Oops, slides off real easily, as you can tell. So you pick and choose where you want this rail to be at, and that's all you gotta do. Once you get it there, you're good to go. And then this tab right here, all you do is push this all the way down, and boom, you are connected to your firearm. Very, very quick. They claim you can have this mounted on your pistol in less than 2 seconds. I agree. I mean, it's very, very simple. So I'm gonna give you an example right here. So what we're gonna do is we're literally gonna pop it over to one side. I usually like mine to be mounted perfect, and I want it to be just far enough to where, as you can tell, my finger makes it fully gripped, makes it to the end of this trigger guard, which in my mind, I'm like, if I can have a light that makes it just far enough, that would be perfect. So what I like to do is I like to put this, grab the cable, put this out of the way. All right, so what I like to do is I personally just click it on like that. Next thing you know, make sure it's tight. And then it's tight right there. Pop this tab back. That's it. You now have a pistol mounted light. How beautiful is that? Pretty bright, as you can tell. Turn it on over there. You can see when it's off and on. Very, very bright light. And in my room right now, we're sitting under 1,500 lumen light bulbs, and I have 2, so that's pretty bright. And once again, turn it on. This is for constant mode. This stays on constant. If you don't want it on constant, you could just tap it real quick. You could hold it, and this way it only comes on when you hold it down. When you let off, it lets off. And it's a very bright light, as you could tell. And going back over to my other hand, as you could tell, I could reach that no problem. With a full mounted grip on the firearm, as you can see. Look at the difference. Astronomical. So it's a pretty outstanding light, in my opinion. It doesn't rattle. It's on there pretty good. If you want to take it off, charge it real quick, you just unrelease this lever, and boom, pops right off. That's it. Unbelievable how straightforward this actual light system is. And for me, I love it because it just goes right on, clicks right into place, slide this back, and you pull the tab back one more time, and you make sure it's on there tight, good to go. And as you can tell, it does not protrude the barrel of the gun. It is barely sticking underneath that. So for me, that's beautiful. It's exactly where I want it. I don't want it to where it sticks out further than the barrel itself. As you can tell, it's literally almost even with those 2 spots. Sticks in a little further, which I'm okay with. When you fire this gun, gunpowder gets all over the place. I don't want that all over my flashlight. So it's actually nice that this is sucked down a little further in. And as you can tell, it's a beautiful setup. In my opinion, it makes this gun, get this box out of the way, it makes this gun look so much better, as you can tell. It's one of those firearms that it looks like it's missing something, but then you put a light on here, and it's good to go. And as you can tell, barely sticks out. So, the tab sticks out just a little bit on this side, but outside of that, does not stick out. I mean, you're going to be completely flush with the firearm itself on both sides. It's not going to stick out any further. And the nice thing is these tabs, which I don't know if you can really see these, but these tabs right here are in such a perfect placement. Literally such a perfect placement. As you can tell, that's a tab right there. And that's what you click. And as you can hear it, very nice movement. The actual button pushes very nicely, very soft, very crisp. But you can't mistake it. That's the button for your light. So once you get a double-handed grip on there, it's actually really nice. Like I said, this finger over here, turn it on, turn it off. And in my opinion, when it comes to firearms, and once again, this is just my opinion, um, me personally, if God forbid somebody broke into my house or was trying to harm me, I would much rather have my light turned on first before I pull the trigger on this firearm. And maybe this light is more than enough for all you need to be able to scare someone off. And as you can tell, it is very, very bright. I mean, it might be just enough light to, in a dark environment, to flash someone in the eyes real quick. Like, you're not gonna see anything. You're literally not gonna see anything with that on. Um, this coming at you might be just enough for you to get enough time to run off and get out of there, or to scare someone enough to where they're like, I don't want no problems, I can't even see right now. Then you might not even have to use your firearm, which is, at the end of the day, number one goal is to not have to actually use your firearm. So I did want to make a video in regards to this light right here. It's a beautiful light, works phenomenal. I've had this for going on probably 2 months now and had zero issues with it. Knock on wood, of course. It's been a great light. So if you're thinking about getting one, if you've been on the fence, if you already have one, good for you. If you've been thinking about getting one, this is the light, especially for a compact size firearm like this, where this is a compact firearm with a barrel size that's 3.2 something inch barrel. It's not big, it's not massive, it's not a very long, full-size firearm. So if you want something that just fits onto this with no issues and it's not going to look gaudy and horrible, then this is the light for you right here. This is literally going to fit perfect on most firearms, and it's going to do the job exactly with what you're looking for. So that about wraps it up. Once again, that's your Olight PL Mini 2 Valkyrie with 600 lumens, 100-meter throw, beautiful everyday light. So that's where I'll leave you guys. We'll catch you on the next one, and everyone stay safe out there, please. Let's get this pandemic over with. Let's everyone get back to work and all that good stuff. So hopefully you stay nice and clean, keep your hands clean, stay out of trouble, and we'll get past this before you know it. So I'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you.